G'day everyone, my name is Matilda Gibson and today I'll be discussing executive function in children and the importance of building the skills aligned with it for development throughout education and other areas of life. Some areas that will be covered in this presentation are listed on this page. At the end, I'll supply 5 lesson plans that educators can use to teach and build executive functioning skills to Stage 2 students. Let's begin by discussing executive function. In this section, we will investigate the brain, define executive function, and look at some skills aligned with it. It's important to know that our brains are complex organs that control all that we do as humans. They have the capacity to learn new things and change over time. In the early years of a person's life, they generally have the highest number of neural connections they will ever have in their lives. This allows them to develop skills and capacities that are important for lifelong success. I bring this up to highlight that the skills and capacities that we need for life are learned and developed over time. Generally, people aren't born with these skills, but they are born with the potential to develop them. And educators have a valuable opportunity to aid this and support their students toward lifelong success. Skills that aid people in this area can fall under a process called executive function. This definition from Harvard University in simple terms states that executive function is a set of mental operations that our brains can perform as we make decisions and process information. Over time, humans develop these skills automatically, but educators can take on the role of the guider and support their students to develop executive functioning skills. This may explicitly support the development in students that have deficits in this area. Executive function can be categorized into 3 main control areas: self-regulation, working memory, and cognitive flexibility. Self-regulation refers to the ability to control one's energy levels, emotions, thoughts, and actions in a manner that is constructive and yields favorable outcomes, such as happiness, fulfilling relationships, and personal growth. Working memory is a cognitive system responsible for temporarily storing and manipulating information needed for tasks, decision-making, and problem-solving. And finally, cognitive flexibility refers to the ability to adapt and shift one's thinking or behavior in response to changing circumstances or demands. All these control areas can be further broken down into 6 main skill areas. Teachers who support and enable their students' growth in all these areas will set them on a path towards success, because these skills are necessary for being able to manage life challenges. There are many reasons why teachers should foster the development of executive functioning skills in their classrooms. Research shows that a person's day-to-day interactions will rely on executive function. The way we socialize, plan, organize in our lives relies on our ability to use executive functioning skills. I particularly enjoyed this quote from Flanders' article on executive function. In simple terms, she states that executive function skills will help a person in future learning. Going deeper, executive function skills help us to do many things that contribute to our social, academic, behavioral, and emotional learning journey. I put together this graph to pinpoint some areas that executive function helps us in. When there are deficits in any of these areas, an opposite effect may occur. This may affect a person's social, academic, behavioral, or emotional development. For example, it is common for people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder to struggle in these areas. Explicitly working at building executive functioning skills will prove to be helpful for people like this. That brings us to the next part of this presentation, the building of executive function. As we have already established, executive functioning skills are to be developed and learned over time. Teachers can structure their learning so that it models executive functioning to their students. I have listed some ways that teachers can model executive function to their students. These are a few of the many ways that educators can do this. By modeling executive function skills, you provide students with a concrete example of how these skills are applied in real-life situations. Seeing these skills in action helps students to understand what they look like and how they can be used effectively. They may also begin to practice and develop these skills over time. As we have already discussed, executive function skills are not only important for academic success, but also for various aspects of life. Modeling these skills helps students to see how they can be applied in other contexts, promoting their transferability and long-term benefit. A contributor to the development of executive function skills is stress, which can be a normal and healthy part of life, but high levels of stress can negatively impact the brain's development of executive function skills. Supportive relationships can help calm stress levels, but without this, for long periods of time, stress can develop into toxic stress. Harvard University found that toxic stress can hinder the development of neural connections, particularly in the areas of the brain responsible for higher order cognitive thinking. This brings to light the negative impact that stress can have on executive function. Therefore, it is very important that teachers avoid toxic stress in their classrooms. Later we will discuss some strategies to do with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but for now let me discuss some stresses that students may face in schools. Some stresses in education are listed on this page. It's important for students to have access to support systems such as guidance counselors, mentors, or mental health services to address these stresses effectively and develop coping strategies. Creating a balanced and supportive environment can help students navigate these challenges more effectively. There are many stress management frameworks out there that teachers can use to address stress in their classroom. One helpful framework that you can use toward this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which describes humans' motivation and the hierarchical arrangement of fundamental needs. According to Maslow, individuals are motivated to fulfill their needs in a specific order, from basic psychological needs to higher level psychological needs. Here's how teachers can use this framework to support their students. Firstly, in regard to students' psychological needs, it is not possible for teachers to provide their students with all areas of this level, but they can contribute to it by providing them access to their packed lunches, give them water, give them breaks for physical activity. Teachers can also be attentive to students' basic needs by allowing them to use the restroom when necessary and providing comfortable and clean classrooms. Teachers can help fulfill students' safety needs by establishing clear expectations and routines in the classroom. They can create a positive and supportive atmosphere, free from bullying or intimidation. Some strategies they can use include clear rules and processes, schedules, and order of events. This will provide students with a sense of control over their environment and their learning because of its predictability. In regard to love and belonging, teachers can foster a sense of belonging by promoting positive relationships and supportive classrooms. They can encourage collaboration, teamwork, and inclusive activities. Teachers can also facilitate opportunities for students to connect with one another, such as through group projects, discussions, or extracurricular activities. This will address areas of stress with peers like judgment or failing the group. Teachers can support students' esteem needs by recognizing and appreciating their efforts and achievements, providing constructive feedback, acknowledging progress, and highlighting strengths. These can help students develop a sense of self-worth and confidence. Teachers can also create opportunities for students to showcase their skills and talents, such as presentations or class leadership roles. According to Maslow, achieving self-actualization is driven by personal growth, and only a small number of people reach this level. Moreover, educators may still support their students by providing opportunities for personal growth and self-expression. This can be done through engaging and challenging activities that allow students to explore their interests, creativity, and critical thinking skills. Teachers can encourage students to set goals, pursue their passions, and take ownership of their learning. It's important to note that students may not always follow a linear progression through Maslow's hierarchy. Teachers should be aware that students may have different needs at different times, and it's essential to be flexible with the responsiveness to individual students' circumstances. But overall, Maslow's framework provides teachers with the foundations for teaching executive function and reducing stress in their classrooms. Some additional strategies that teachers can utilize to address stress-related concerns and facilitate the growth of executive function skills are listed on this page. Through these approaches, teachers can help students to effectively manage stress, cultivate executive function skills, and establish an environment conducive to academic success. In light of this discussion about executive function, and the recommendations for building executive function skills in the classroom, I have formed 5 consecutive lesson plans that explicitly teach and model executive function skills in the classroom. These lessons incorporate some of the methods discussed in the presentation and help to maximize the building of executive function skills by explicitly teaching and combating stress and taking into consideration Maslow's hierarchy of needs so that maximum learning can occur. I have attached these lesson plans in the description bar of this post for public access. That brings us to the end of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.